Darkcast Network, bringing our indie podcasts out of the shadows.
Now then, my dear magical ears, welcome to another episode of the Bell Witch podcast with me, Swailes, the friendly green witch. I'm here, yes, it's only been a week and you're probably expecting part 2, but alas, it didn't manifest. But fear not, because I have got a fabulous moot-loot guest, Laura May, the kitchen witch that lives on a lovely little narrowboat called May Moon. And my dears, there has been lots going on. It is a fantastic interview, as always. And Laura's got a brand new deck and a brand new book, and I shall link this fantastic set of achievements in the show notes below. So if you want to have a nosy at her work, it is absolutely beautiful, just like her Instagram and her lovely witchy soul. Quick reminder for the Patreons, I'm trying to list you as your extra bonus entry for the book, which is going to be drawn very soon, the Free Ravens book. I'm struggling to see the list of paid subscribers, which is really annoying. So if you could comment with an emoji on the latest Patreon post about the book so I can list you, and I shall draw it live so everybody sees what's going on. And if you haven't entered, please go over to Instagram, follow the Free Ravens podcast, follow the Bell Witch podcast, share if you can, and I shall enter you into the draw to win a competition and some free witchy stuff from me, because I'm absolutely mad for it. This week has been absolutely vengeful in terms of coming back to normal everyday mum life, and today has been a roller coaster for a few reasons which I won't go into right now. But at the end of today, as I record, I got some fantastic news that I'm super duper chuffed with. The Bell Witch podcast has been shortlisted for the Independent Podcast Awards, which is like a live ceremony trophy type deal. Oh my god, in London on the 15th of October, I think it is, the Bell Witch podcast has been entered into the lifestyle category, which, oh my god, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy. So thank you directly for listening. Yes, you listen to me right now. The reason I make these podcasts is for you to listen and enjoy. You are just so cool. You can tell I'm just a tad excited. Some of my lovely podcast pals have also been nominated. You'll know them. There's Free Ravens podcast, which is the book competition at the moment. There's also Wade in the Wade, which is a lovely podcast that supports me regularly. Is that the word? It sounds weird. And there is also Haunted UK podcast. They were probably the first podcast to ever shout me out and support me. So it's wild that I'll be in a room with these amazing creators and we can all be weirdos together. Right then, listeners, I am so excited to introduce my first ever returning guest. This is a fantastic moment for the Bell Witch podcast, because here with me today we've got Laura May Moon of the boat. Yay!
I feel so blessed that you're having me back.
You have been such a busy witch since I last spoke to you.
Yeah, it's all been kicking off, hasn't it?
Here, there, and everywhere. But first, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm enjoying this glorious summer, although it is 30 degrees in the boat right now and it is every single day. So it's very hot, but the lack of rain, it's giving. I'm loving it. We could do with the odd burst of rain. I just love the sun. I mean, the sun doesn't love me. I have to wear like factor 50 every day, even in the winter. But it's just so nice to be able to walk around and forage and things.
So we've already spoke about the weather, so that's that British thing done. Right, we've got that out there early.
Well, I've got no holidays booked, so we can skip that.
Yeah, excellent. Tell me, what have you been up to since I last spoke to you?
Gosh, continuing to make videos, that's the bread and butter, of course, of my day-to-day life. But the main thing that I've been doing is writing a book. Yeah, hurrah! A real book. Yeah, like a published, gonna be in the shops. It's so funny for me because you know that thing of like, oh, what you want to be when you grow up? I remember being very young and the first thing that I ever wanted to be was a bookmaker. Didn't really know what writer meant, didn't know what illustrator meant. I just wanted to make books. So it feels very full circle for my like 5-year-old self that I have an actual book, not just something that's like paperclip together.
There's a joke there about a butcher, a baker. Oh no, there's no bookmaker there, is there? It's a candlestick maker. This is my
Well, I've made
mind at the
candles.
moment. Oh, well, there you go. Halfway
I've made
there.
candles. I've baked. So I don't butcher though.
No, good.
I butcher vegetables to within an inch of their lives. So if that counts.
You can hear the tiny screams while you cut them up. Like madness.
Don't, you'll make me feel guilty.
There's a book, which we'll talk about more in a moment. There's also a deck, is that right?
Oh yeah, the tarot deck. So yeah, that is what I'm currently working on like today, just before we got on recording. I'm still working on this tarot deck. Yeah, it's going really well. I'm now getting to the point where I need to look for a printer. So yeah, I'm overwhelmed by the idea of actually having it physically in my hands because the book was a labor of love, but all the printing and all the logistics is kind of taken care of by the publisher. But when it comes to the deck, I'm doing everything. I'm getting it printed. I'm, doing the copywriting and the editing, all the bits and bobs and the posting and the packaging, literally everything apart from making the bags, which my next door neighbour is making. It's a logistical challenge, an organisational challenge, but we'll get there. We've got plenty of time still. I'm ahead of schedule, even though I've had to have a month off drawing. So yeah, I'm very happy with how things are going. Yeah, so I launched a Kickstarter I think it was at the end of January or in February, and I can't believe the response that I had. Like, I set a very hefty goal because I knew that it would be so much work. I had this idea that I wanted to bring to fruition, which was creating a tarot deck with a corresponding recipe book that illustrates the cards based on the magical properties of one or more ingredients. So for example, the Fool is represented by plums because the magical intentions behind plums are all about innocence and creativity and like the blossoming. They're one of the first flowers to blossom in the year, so it's very much about like beginnings, and there's 77 more of them and all of them have left my head right now, but
On the spot.
so yeah, exactly, I'm on the spot. I mean, I've got the booklet open, so I can give you some more if you would like to hear them. But yeah, I've illustrated every single card and I have recipe tested 78 recipes, but most of the recipes are very simple because they're heroing like one or two ingredients, so it's less about an amalgamation of lots of ingredients coming together, and it's more about saying cinnamon, we want to hero cinnamon. It's not getting literally lost in the sauce. It will be like the main ingredient to a simple dish. So a lot of them are teas and syrups and parfaits and just very simplified recipes that focus on one ingredient.
So is that the concept then? It can be a tarot as like a traditional tarot deck, but then it can also be a recipe book. Is that right?
The way that I would use it, or the way that it's intended to be used, is that you will do a spread, you will draw the cards, and then you could use that recipe to either enhance or repel or protect yourself from what the cards say, or even for divination. So, for example, every single 2 in the deck, and the lovers, because that's also about duality, often a 2 in the deck represents a choice between 2 outcomes, or like a yes and no question, and all of the recipes that are based around 2 have some kind of divination within the recipe. Or, for instance, the tower card is represented by hawthorn because traditionally hawthorn protects you against lightning. So the recipe, the hawthorn recipe, would protect you from what's coming from the tower, or at least help you to emotionally stabilize yourself for what might be coming, represented by the tower. So yeah, each recipe, you're supposed to draw a card and then use that recipe to enhance what the card is giving you or protect yourself from it.
That's so cool. I've never heard of anything like that. That is so layered, amazing, like an onion.
It is pretty layered. It's like hard to explain in a way because it is quite a crazy idea, because it's taken so much research to sort of put these things together. Because I mean, I love tarot, but I won't profess to be a tarot master. You know, I don't know every single card off by heart. I mean, I probably do now that I've had to do so much research. But you really have to like have the kind of brain that can make those linkages. Because yeah, even though I do have that kind of brain, I'm not an encyclopedia, so it still has taken a lot of like cross-reference research, and hopefully it's a tool that people can actually use. And I guess you could just draw your dinner as well. You could just draw a few cards and be like, "What? I don't know what to eat."
That's so good. That's what I would do. And then look at it and go, I can't cook.
These recipes aren't complicated at all. I've kept them so simple, and I've tried my best to lean away from like foraged ingredients. There's a few in there, and there's a few seasonal ingredients in there, but as much as I possibly can, the recipes can be made all year round by anyone, because the whole point is that you could draw those cards at any time and use the recipe, rather than I've drawn a card but Violet's not in season. That's a bad
Yeah.
example because Violet is in the deck.
And I bet it was hard to resist the temptation to not have the whole shebang, like have all the ingredients ethically sourced and foraged. It
Yeah.
must have been really
Yeah.
tempting, but then it's not accessible, is it?
Well, the good thing is that I had finished the book right before I started this. So I kind of poured all of my complicated recipes, not complicated, but my more all encompassing recipes. So, like breads and like full dishes and things like that. I kind of poured that and the more forage based recipes, I poured that into the book. So that kind of freed up a lot of recipe brain space for recipes that weren't solely based on foraging. Although the book, pretty much every recipe, you can use the dried version of any ingredient, and it's not all forage based. There's probably, I'd say, about 15 recipes in there that like require foraging. Again, you can go online, you can get the dried version of all of those. You don't have to go out and forage yourself.
Does the book and the deck, do they work together, or are they two separate entities?
They're very much two separate entities. I wouldn't say they work together, but they also don't work against each other. They're two completely separate projects. Every single recipe in the deck and every single recipe in the book, they're unique. But you could use them together, because you could use one to complement the other, but the book is a lot more detailed. It's a lot more in depth, and the book actually explains things about kitchen witchery, explains things about the history of witchcraft, explains the folklore of these plants and ingredients. And there's a section in there called the witch's store cupboard, which gives you like a basic store spices, all the magical ingredients for the things that you've probably already got in your cupboard, like allspice and ginger and cinnamon and milk and flour, and just all the things that you might expect to find in a pantry, so that you've got like an index of the ingredients meanings, so that you can layer that on top of whatever you're doing. You know, if you want to adapt a recipe but you want to focus on abundance or protection, you can go to that sort of glossary of the store cupboard. So it's very much an adaptable book that you can kind of play with. And it gives you some history, it gives you some folklore, it gives you some tips and things to do. Yeah, the book is like really, really detailed, whereas the deck, it's more about the interactivity of using the deck and the illustrations and keeping the recipes really, really simple to like hero one or two ingredients.
There's no folklore in the deck then, that's just in the book. Is that right?
You get like a line per card to explain the magical properties of the chosen ingredient and how that sort of relates to the card. Whereas, and it is literally, because the guidebook, you know, is small and there's 78 pages or 78 cards, whereas the book really goes into some heavy detail. Well, not heavy detail, but you'll get, you know, a couple of paragraphs of the folklore or of the history. Every single recipe in the book teaches you something about folk magic. So there's a recipe in there called Witch Bottle Sweet Vermouth, and that's a vermouth recipe. Basically explains the history of witch bottles and what they are and where they come from and what they mean. And then I've kind of adapted that into a recipe. So rather than having a bottle of pins and urine in the corner of your
Ew.
home,
Nice.
instead you can make a nice vermouth wine that you can then enjoy. And the intention is the same. The intention is of, you know, protection and taking negative energy and turning it into something positive. One thing that I love about Kitchen Witchery is, like, often when we do spells and things, you've then got a jar or some materials and you're like, well, what do I do with it now? It feels wrong to put it in the bin, or, like, you know, you don't necessarily want to bury it or put it in a river, or, you know, so what do I do with it? Whereas with Kitchen Witchery, you eat it. You literally take it inside your body, and then there's no waste. And it's an experience that you can enjoy. And because I think a lot of how witchcraft works is sort of mentally, it's a lot more impactful. I've just released a recipe that is in the tarot deck and is on my Instagram for a crispy chili banishing oil. And you are supposed to whisper to the oil what you'd like to banish, and then use the oil over the following couple of weeks on your food. And every time you smell that smell again of the oil, because you've had your face so close to it when you've whispered to it, you kind of remember what you're banishing. So, for example, if you're trying to banish an ex and you don't want to speak to them anymore and you're trying to go no contact and, like, you keep breaking contact, every time you smell it, it's like bringing you back to that moment when you've really intently focused and whispered, I don't want to speak to this person anymore. So that's kind of my premise behind Kitchen Witchery, and that's kind of how I think it works. I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I think a big part of it is sort of like a subconscious element.
Oh, I bloody love Witchcraft. I love it.
Me too.
It's so good, isn't it? Honestly, that it's
It's
so
so fun.
amazing and complicated and deep, and yes. In terms of your deck, then, do you know when that's going to be available?
It should be September. Yeah, so I launched the Kickstarter in February, and to be honest, I wasn't sure that it was going to work, you know, because the way it works on Kickstarter is you can basically set a minimum that you need to raise in order to bring the project to life, and then anything that you get on top of that is a bonus. And I swung my minimum quite high because I knew that it would take me so long to actually complete the project, and I needed those labor costs. Like, this is my full-time job, so if I'm not doing that, I'm going to have to be doing something else in order to, you know, make money. I wouldn't have had the time in the day to do all of the illustration and the recipe testing and the writing without funding. And then on top of that, things like printing and posting and all those pitfalls, they are quite costly, and I needed a buffer zone because I've never done this before and I want to make sure that I make something I'm really proud of. So yeah, it was pretty high, and I did not know what to expect, but it did hit. And it hit about halfway through because it was up for a month, and it hit about halfway through, and I was just like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe, you know, how many people have pledged towards this. But I am going to get some extra decks made. So the deck and the guidebook together will also be for sale from about September. And funnily enough, the book is coming out in September as well. So September's going to be an absolutely insane month for me.
Which is now, because this episode is out in September.
Is it? Oh my
Yeah,
god. Oh my god. Send a message to future Laura. Either well done. I hope I'm saying well done. You got everything done in time and it's all ready and you're not losing your head about, you know, posting and things. I'm quite nervous about the posting just because of all the tariffs and, like, everything that's going on in the world. I'm like, oh, I know, talk about first world problems, but it's still a consideration that I'm like, oh god, these tariffs and things, what's that going to mean for my posting? But hopefully it'll be fine.
I've just thought about that song, Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Yeah.
You'll be asleep because you'll be knackered.
I will be exhausted by the end of September, I think. Yeah.
Where do legends come from?
Are they born out of the land and the stories people tell about it? Or have they always been there, waiting to be discovered?
What does it mean if we forget them?
How do they remind us they're there?
Is it a bump in the night?
Will they come in a dream?
Will stories pass from sets of lovers' lips like kisses do? I'm Eleanor.
I'm Martin.
And we are a real-life married couple and the creators and hosts of Three Ravens, an independent myth and folklore podcast all about folklore, folkways, and the power of stories.
For a little over 2 years, we've been releasing weekly episodes about England's 39 historic counties, exploring the history, folklore, traditional foods and customs of each area, and chatting about their ghosts and mermaids, mythical monsters, half-forgotten heroes, bloody legends, and much more.
Along the way, we've released whole 13-episode bonus series about cryptids and mythical creatures, interviews with authors, storytellers, and local experts from each county, heritage crafts dying out as society changes, the history of magical practices, folk songs, folkloric true crimes, and the most famous witches and wizards ever to have lived.
We've retold over 100 stories for Three Ravens. Most episodes are standalone, but if you want to adventure with us, we have over 350 in the back catalogue for you to listen to right now, wherever you get your podcasts, and even more through our Patreon.
Right now, we're preparing to launch our 7th series, which will be all about the myths and legends of the 13 historic counties of Wales. Before next year, we turn our focus to the 13 original states of the American Union.
Our first book was also just published in hardback, Three Ravens Folktales, and we're touring all over the UK, so come and see us live if you can.
You can learn all about us on our website, threeravenspodcast.com, or just search Three Ravens Podcast on your chosen podcast app.
Ranked as one of the top 50 all-time English podcasts, the number 5 top witchy podcast, and the number 6 all-time top short story podcast on the whole internet, according to Good Pods, come gather round the Three Ravens campfire and listen in.
And remember, don't whistle till you're out of the woods.
Currently, you're designing the cards now, is that right?
Yeah, so all 78 illustrations are done. I injured myself doing it because it was so much drawing, but I'm not begrudging that at all. I loved it. I loved every second of knowing that what my day looked like was just 8 to 12 hours of just drawing. I watched so much TV. Well, had it on in the background.
Are you in the card?
I'm not, no.
Oh,
I haven't-
what?
Well, I mean, kind of. So there was a pledge tier where you could commission one of the cards. That's another reason why I didn't draw many of them before I put up the Kickstarter, because I wanted to give people the opportunity to, you know, if they wanted to put someone that they know or themselves into the deck, or even just like a nod towards someone, like, oh, can you put my cat in the card, or like, you know, whatever it might be. So 3 people went for that tier. So there's 3 cards that are based on a person, and I've sent them out to those people, and they've all really said that they absolutely love it. So I'm so pleased that they like what I've produced for them. No, I'm not in the card. I mean, she looks nothing like me, but I gave the magician like red hair. So I guess you could say the magician is kind of like towards me. I think there's a little bit of me in all of them, because I think you do that naturally when you draw. But no, I'd love to look like the magician. She's gorgeous. But when I was drawing her, I was thinking, yeah, give her the big red hair like me.
Just shows my ego. Like, if I were to do a deck, I would absolutely be a card. I don't know, draw me like one of your French girls, Jack. You know, it'd just be.
I mean, I guess I have put myself in the card, but I've got the kind of ego where I've made her really gorgeous, and she actually looks nothing like me.
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just say it. What's your favourite tarot card?
Of my deck, or just in general?
Both.
I think my favourite tarot card has definitely changed since doing the deck, because I have never in my life drawn the strength card. Like, I never knew what it meant because I'd never drawn it. And when I say drawn it, I mean in a spread. And I love the strength card design that I've done. And when I read about what it actually means, I was like, this is beautiful. This is such an amazing card. Like, the meaning of it is so glorious. So I think the strength card has definitely become really up there for me. I love the magician. And I've made my magician a woman, so love that for me. God, yeah, I always draw the high priestess a lot. I get her a lot. So I probably should go with the High Priestess because she's one of my most drawn cards. Queen of Cups as well. I'm always getting her. But yeah, there's loads of card designs on the deck that I absolutely love. And I might do prints of some of my favourites because I just love the designs so much.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to figure out what would be on the tower card. Would it be poppies?
No, I've used poppies for the moon. So I've used poppy seed because it's all about being dreaming and intuition. And the moon card, it's not a nice card. It's not a terrible card, but obviously you need some emotional resilience for the moon. But no, the tower is hawthorn because it's anti-lightning in folklore. So everyone loves the tower.
You did say that earlier on, actually, and I just forgot. Swailes brain, like bear.
Don't worry, there's so many. Another one that I really love is the Hanged Man. I've chosen persimmon because there is, or Sharon fruit, because there is a technique in Japan. I can't remember the exact name of it now. It's escaped my brain. But you basically hang a persimmon on a string tied, and you sort of like massage it and like brush it every day over weeks, and it kind of goes clear. It sort of preserves itself. And in folklore, the persimmon is connected to changing your gender, which is just really specific. But I kind of see it as seeing the world from the oppositional point of view. So it's like flipping your point of view. And also you hang them up. So it just seemed like the perfect one for the Hanged Man. I love that sort of strange connection.
Is lavender in your deck?
Yeah, so lavender is the strength card.
Oh,
Yeah, one of my
I love
absolute
lavender.
faves.
And is the sunflowers as well?
Yeah, sunflowers is the sun card. Like, easy
Obvious.
peasy.
Easy. When you think about it, it's really obvious, Swailes. Come on now.
I mean, it didn't have to be, but it just seemed very appropriate.
So I had a quick Google and I was right in the Rider-Waite. There is sunflowers in the Queen of Wands. Oh, I'm so excited to see the finished piece. It'll be such a huge achievement. And then the book, I mean, is the book quite meaty? It sounds like it'll be huge. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's well sexy. Just walking around boat like, look at my book over there. See my book there.
I got this like only about a week ago, and I'm obsessed with it. I can't believe it exists. It's real. Like, I can knock it. Yeah, it's about 200 pages. So it's not something that is going to be too hefty to read. Like, it's a very easy read, but there's a lot of info in there. Like I say, every single recipe, I wanted it to teach you something, whether that's the folklore of an ingredient or, you know, something, a process of folk magic, or something about the history of witchcraft. Pretty much every single recipe links back to something. So if you read it from cover to cover, like, you wouldn't even need to make the recipes. I mean, I recommend you do because they're good recipes, but you could also just sit and read the book. You would still get something from it.
Like a storybook.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Is there one that you can read out to us? We can have a little cheeky insight.
Oh, God. Yeah, the final chapter is called Practical Magic. So every single one of those recipes is like a full ritual spell. It will tell you, you know, what moon phase is best for making it, what day of the week, what colour, what incense to burn while you're doing it. It's like a full-on process. So you kind of graduate through the book. The first chapter is folk medicine. So that's kind of about the history of folk remedies and using food with intention, even if that intention is like health. One of those is 9 herb simmer pot. And I'm sure, you know, back in medieval times, they didn't know the antibacterial, antimicrobial uses of these herbs. They didn't know how it worked. They just knew that it worked. And I kind of love that intersection between witchcraft and science, because all of that ancestral knowledge is now being proven right by science, even though we've been doing it for hundreds and sometimes even thousands of years. Fermentation has existed since before fire, for example. So I just love that history, and I think it's important to kind of pay homage to where those recipes sort of come from, because they don't come from me, they come from our ancestors, they come from, you know, centuries of people adapting and using food not just for health but also for remedy, whether that be emotional or circumstantial or for something tasty that isn't going to make you ill. And then you go through sort of the ceremonial recipe, so that takes you through the wheel of the year. So each of those, there's a couple of recipes for each festival, and that's sort of intended to, you know, mark the turning of the wheel. Wherever you live, most likely, unless you live exactly on the equator, you will be feeling some seasonal change. And even on the equator, of course, you have the rainy season. And where I live in bonny old England, it's very extreme. Not extreme, we don't have extreme weather, but like you really feel the difference between summer and winter. So that wheel is very exaggerated here. And so it makes sense that we would cook completely different things in summer to what we would in winter. And that sort of goes hand in hand with recognizing those festivals, because at the end of the day, that's where those festivals come from. They come from the harvest, they come from food. So why wouldn't we celebrate them with food? And there's also a chapter about menstrual magic and some broomstick brews, which are like coffees and moon milks and cocktails.
I was going to say, oh, there's cocktails in there.
There are a few cocktails. I love it. I love a cocktail. The tarot deck is completely alcohol free, but the book has some cocktail recipes in there. But I mean, there's definitely ways to adapt them, apart from witch bottle vermouth, which you would need a wine. But most of them, you could adapt them and have like alcohol free versions. It's a full encompassed book that you could sort of like graduate through and go from the very beginnings of our ancestral wisdom right up until modern day witchcraft. But each recipe, even in practical magic, harps back to an idea from folk magic or a process from folk magic or some folklore. So yeah, it's an educational book, I'd say.
Oh, I can't wait to get a copy. You'll sign it for me, won't you? You
Of
sign it.
course, of course. I really hope I really hope I get to have like a massive book launch, because like I'm probably never going to get, I'm not going to get married. I'm probably not going to have kids. I mean, I'm definitely not going to have kids. So this is my child. So I want to have a big knees up for it. So we'll see. I'm really hoping that I can pull something together, but I haven't started organising that yet because there's a lot going on. So yeah, let's hope that future Laura has also pulled that one off.
Yeah.
I'd love to go on a book tour. I
Oh
would
my
love to go on a
God.
book tour. That would be amazing. Imagine.
Future Laura that's listening to this now, right? Are you writing this shit down?
Yeah. Have you done it? Have you organised it? Get on it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your favourite ritual?
Yeah, this is a really easy question for me because I have a ritual that is absolute standout. Like it changed my life. It's called the lemon and it's on my YouTube, so you can also do the lemon. And I did this, I think the first time I did it was in January, or I think it was for in bulk of 2024. And ever since then, I've now have my dream job. I'm doing what I love. I wouldn't say I'm financially abundant, but I'm financially independent of like a job and work for myself. And yeah, it honestly changed everything for me. And I had an email just this week actually from someone who told me that they had also done the lemon when I put out the YouTube video, and that since then her life has completely changed. And she was manifesting this home that she could build with her friend and like grow veg in the garden and just be self-sufficient and all these wonderful things. And she's just closed on her first house at 27, and she told me that, she's used the lemon to manifest this, and it's worked for her, which is so nice. It's amazing to get feedback from spells or rituals that you've created that people have then used and been successful with. Like, that is just the cherry on the top for me. To hear that is just amazing. And I think it's something that I'm going to do every single year, probably around in bulk. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. I might do it again, actually. Might do it soon.
It sounds quite ambiguous, the lemon. Is it like the secret, but in the shape of a fruit?
And lemon. I mean, it is a kitchen witch recipe, so it's basically preserved lemons with multiple extra steps, but it's not hard to do. It's definitely easy to do. But I don't know, there's just something about that ritual in particular that has really worked wonders for me and clearly for other people as well. I don't know, there must be something really powerful in it. I mean, lemons are powerful, and yeah, it's definitely worked.
There's a connection with when life gives you lemons,
Yeah, exactly.
make lemonade.
Yeah, exactly. When life gives you lemons, make the lemon, make your dreams come true.
Can you walk us through it, this ritual?
Yeah, it's basically like a projection of the next year, 3 years, and 5 years. And you basically write really detailed letters about, where you want to be in a year, 3 years, 5 years, and correspond that with a sigil that you put inside these lemons. And then it's got all these different ingredients that add to, the magical intentions of the spell. And over the coming 3 to 6 months, however long your lemons last, every time you're eating this preserved lemon, you're kind of re-invoking the power of your manifestation. And on the 1 year mark, you can open the letter and read what you've written, and then on the 3 mark and the 5 year mark as well. So yeah, it's a really like long-term vision of where you want to be, and I think it just really helps you center what you want out of life, because it's really easy to get what you want once you know what you want. I know that's like a really crazy thing to say. Obviously, it's not easy to get what you want, but you'll never get what you want if you don't know what it is. So when people do money spells, for example, I think one of the mistakes that people make is that they just manifest money. They're just like, I just want money. I think instead you need to be incredibly specific about what you want. So you want to even say a number, like how much money do you want? Where do you want it to come from? What are you going to use it for? It helps you put a plan in place in your head. Whereas if you just manifest for money, it's just ambiguous. It's just, the universe isn't going to listen unless you actually ask for something specifically. So that would be my one tip for anyone doing any kind of like witchcraft or magical spells. Be specific as you can possibly be, because once you really know what it is and you're clear about what it is that you want, you can get it.
The last time I spoke to you on the pod, you were thinking about doing little boat parties. Don't know if you remember that, like
Yeah, yeah.
evening stuff. I was just wondering if did that ever sort of materialize?
Not yet, but another tier on the Kickstarter was to come and basically do that, come to a supper club on the boat. So I have to do it now because I've got people booked in for it, so I have to do it. And I'm hoping that will really force me to like test it out and see how it goes. It's the logistics of it that is the difficult thing. I've got no problem with having people over and having a little party and a little shindig. It's just the pressure of getting it all put together and being a bit nervous about it, but I have to do it. I would love to do it, and I think people would love to come, and I'd love to put on like workshops and things where we could make spell jars and do rituals, and yeah, it would be amazing. It's just a space issue. It's like I can only have a few people at a time, and therefore I'd have to charge more because I can only have a few people at once, and then I don't want to be charging like huge amounts of money. I want it to be accessible. So it may well be that I find another way to do it that isn't boat based, which is sad because obviously the boat is part of what I do, but I won't live on the boat forever. So I do want to do things that aren't specifically hinging on the boat. One day I'll have a big retreat in the woods and an outdoor kitchen and everyone can come and we can all enjoy ourselves. But for now, I can only have like 3 or 4 people maximum on the boat. So it's just, it's quite limited in that way.
Manifesting it. Manifest.
I am manifesting it. This year is all about sort of getting the projects signed, sealed, and delivered, and then hopefully next year I can go out into the world and like bring it to people in person.
Got so much going on. It's just amazing. This is why I love being a host, and I'm probably not very good at this bit because I'm just like, I want to party with you. Like, I'm like, whoa, it's so much going on.
We
I do
will
Wallace
party.
and Gromit, like, woo.
This is why I hope I can have a book launch, because I've made so many amazing connections with people just through social media, and it would be amazing to have an excuse to put everyone together. Like my vision, this is not going to happen because it's very expensive, but my vision, let's manifest it. Actually, let's manifest it right
I'm going to
now.
say, right, delete that.
Yeah, I can't have that attitude. I'm a witch, for God's sake. My vision would be to have a book launch at Chelsea Physic Garden and have like corn weavers and Boss Morris and broom makers and witches and tarot readers and, you know, fire breathers or whatever. And some like folk music and like little tents where lots of different things are going on, and a whole spread, like a whole kitchen witch spread and canapes and things. And I could just sit in the corner and revel in it and just, I don't know, sign books or say hello to people, but just basically enjoy a proper summer fete or like end of summer fete. I just want an excuse to create a big party, basically. So yeah, hopefully something like that'll happen. Chelsea Physic Garden might be a little bit out of reach, like financially, but maybe they'll let me do it for free. I don't know.
That's a big ass festival.
Yeah.
But it sounds amazing. Like, it's made for me. I sign me up. Take my money.
I'd love to do stuff like that.
So I've got the ritual, what is it? Rituals, not habits, written in my little notebook, because is that your tagline?
Sort of, yeah. It's kind of like my philosophy in life, because I find habits, like forming them and breaking them, really difficult and boring. Like a chore, you know? I don't want chores in my life. And I think if you ritualize your life, you can just come at it from a very different perspective. So, you know, if you want to be getting better sleep every night, instead of saying, right, I'm going to put my phone in another room and I'm going to force myself to go to bed and I'm just going to lay in bed and shut my eyes. But if you add a ritual to that, I think this is why people love like a skincare routine, because 99% of skincare comes down to your genes at the end of the day. All you really need is SPF and good genes. But we love the ritual aspect of doing skincare, like doing the steps and that daily self-care. And so I just take it to that another level. And it can be as simple as like lighting a candle, putting on some incense, just engaging the senses and really centering yourself to your environment and the present moment. And I guess it's all about mindfulness, but I kind of hate the word mindfulness because it's
Yeah.
just like it's blah now, isn't it? So blah. But yeah, I think the reason why I turned my practice into kitchen witchery is because you can feel a bit silly when doing spells. I'll hold my hands up. I felt silly doing it. I think, especially if you're a baby witch, it can feel a bit daunting to do a spell and like sit there with all the paraphernalia and, you know, say incantations out loud or anything like that. Can feel, I mean, no one turns their nose up at, you know, communion or christingle because we brought up with it and we're so used to that. I mean, that is a ritual at the end of the day. It is a ceremonial ritual that we take part in and we know what it means, and it's very normalized. But when it comes to being a little witch at home, like in your bedroom, doing like casting spells, it can feel a little bit awkward. But if you turn that into something practical that you're doing day in, day out, such as cooking, then all of a sudden it becomes really accessible to those of us that might feel a little bit awkward or find it a little bit strange, because you can just sprinkle a bit of cinnamon on your porridge and focus your mind on abundance as you do it, and suddenly you've turned your breakfast into a spell. And because it's all about intention at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's no wrong or right way to do it, really. It is about what you want from it. It's very self-assured and natural,
Yeah.
and don't have to put it on Instagram. It's fine. Just do it for myself.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not talking to you, but like
No,
the
to
general
be fair,
out.
there's a lot of things that I do that I don't put on Instagram because they're just like not aesthetic, or no one will care, or do you know what I mean? Or they're just for me. Because the spells that I do, the non-kitchen witch spells that I do, because I do still do magic that isn't kitchen based, I don't tend to put them up on Instagram because they're kind of just for me. But I'd say 90% of what I do now is food spells, and I love sharing them with other people, especially if it's an idea that I think is like a little bit clever, or you know, a little bit interesting, or tells the history or a story of something. I'm like, oh, I've got to share this with people. That's my ego.
You're inspiring though. You really are. And you did inspire me after our conversation. I remember editing the episode and thinking, I need to get out there and do more foraging, really basic stuff that you can't go wrong with.
Yeah.
So for this year, it was like one of my New Year's resolutions was to eat more natural stuff around me and plant more. And I have been doing it so far. I've lost my way a little bit this month, I must admit, but I started picking wild garlic on my jogs and coming home, and I've got nettles in my
Oh,
garden and making a little soup, and my kids ate it, and I was like, oh my god,
it's nice, isn't it? It kind of connects you to your immediate surroundings, because we buy 99% of our food from the supermarket, or most cases actually 100% of our food from the supermarket, and it usually comes from really far away from you. Like, it's been flown miles upon miles, so it's really nice sometimes to eat something that is, the soil is, you could go and stand on the soil that it's come from, which is a
yeah.
really nice feeling.
Another thing I find that's quite hard is when the time goes and the time it flourished is finished and
Yeah,
it's not in season anymore. So now I'm like mourning wild
yeah.
garlic because it's finished. I'm just like, and I've never really experienced that before. And recently my kids went, "Can we have that really nice soup again?" And I was like, "Well, no, because they're done."
I think that I think that's what I love about foraging as well. It's like, it really does connect you to the seasons. Like, you taste a bit of wild garlic and your body just knows, like, boom, it's spring, it's time to wake up. I mean, they call it bear garlic because it was said that bears is the first thing that they would eat when they came out of hibernation. And I think maybe the smell of the garlic like woke them up. That pungent smell is like, it is spring, it is time to go. And some of my most favorite foods are the ones that are so fleeting. Like, even
Yeah.
like harlequin squash. I love harlequin squash because I yearn for it all year, and then you only get it for about 2 weeks of the year, and you're like, your body is like, it's autumn, how cozy and nice, because that nostalgic taste of the like nutty harlequin squash. Yum yum yum. I'm making myself hungry.
It's like lilac as well. Isn't that quite
Yeah.
fleeting?
Yeah, it's so fleeting, and it's such a strong smell. And lilac is in, I don't think it's not in the book, but it is in the deck. I think it's the Six of Cups. Yeah, it's the Six of Cups, because of that like connection to nostalgia and connection to like childhood, not innocence, but just that nostalgia of childhood. It's, I don't know, there's something about lilac that just makes me think of being a kid, like summers in smelling it.
I love that it's asking you to pay attention
Yeah,
in a lifestyle where we just don't pay
yeah.
attention. When you forage and you really like something, you've got to give it everything for that brief moment. And that's quite beautiful, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, and just like the art of noticing. So if you have any kind of like knowledge about these flowers, or the folklore or the history of them, it makes it easier to remember them. I think, like, we are built on narrative stories. Our entire existence, our every culture in the world is built on stories. But once you know the stories behind them, it's really easy to start noticing them. So any walk that I go on, I'm like, oh, there it is, and I remember all of these things because of the stories behind them and because of what they taste like.
On the last episode, you told us a few stories, and I know that my listeners really love that bit. Have you got one that you could just
Oh, God.
pull out your ass right now? Did you get one for lavender? Because I love lavender.
Lavender, I mean, I don't have a specific piece of folklore. I mean, prostitutes used to use it. There you go. Sex workers would use sex workers used to use the scent of lavender and rose to let customers know, like, I'm available.
That's quite cool. I quite like that.
I don't know if you could call that a story, but that's one of the things that lavender is like. It's not really a magical property, but it's something that is connected to the history of lavender for sure.
Ooh, what
Yeah.
about elderflower? That's quite big at the moment, isn't it?
So elderflower, they used to say that elderflower is like really, really revered, and woodcutters in the UK, people who didn't have any kind of belief in witchcraft or anything like that, they would still ask the tree for permission because it was so understood that elderflower was a sacred tree, and they were superstitious that if you cut down an elder tree without permission from the fairies or the witches, because it was also said that witches were in the roots of the trees and the bees and butterflies on the elder tree were the witches' children. So woodcutters knew this superstition, so they would always ask the tree for permission before they cut it down. Hawthorn is a similar tree where it's like incredibly revered. I mean, there are there are hawthorn trees in Ireland that are like protected. Like if you're building a road somewhere in Ireland, there will be local folklorists who could say you can't build your road here because there's a hawthorn tree over there, and it's a revered hawthorn tree. It's a really special tree, and if you build your road, like people will crash because the fairies will not be happy, because the hawthorn was said to connect to the underworld through its roots, and hawthorn trees are integral for our ecology and for the bees and for pollination. And I just love it when folklore again sort of tells the story of the land and tells you what you need to protect, because all of these trees and things that a lot of them that we're not supposed to touch, we're not supposed to cut down, they're really, really important for nature to survive. And I think all folklore, a lot of folklore, is a cautionary tale. Like there's a reason why we're scared of lakes and rivers and things. It's because you might drown. And there's a reason why it is said, do not cut this tree down. It's because we need those trees. We need them for pollination and, you know, the ecology of the natural world around us.
Yeah, I think people have started taking more notice of trees since that sycamore got cut down,
Yeah, my
at
God, wasn't
Hadrian's
that
Wall.
awful?
Every so often I stop what I'm doing, I go, bloody hell, can you believe somebody actually did that?
I mean, but what a strange
Yeah,
thing to do. Like, what is wrong with people? But yeah, they're cursed by the fairies for sure.
definitely. Yeah, God, it was massive, wasn't it? I mean, I'm very interested in trees now, not because of that, but I don't know, just I always have to touch them and like lay a hand on them
Yeah.
and try and listen to them. And I think one of my recent guests, Shannon Pearl, she's an amazing pop witch singer, and
Oh,
her
nice.
tunes come from the trees, and that was just
Oh,
like
wow.
wow. So she was saying, I love my songs, I love my music because I didn't write it, like nature wrote it, the trees wrote it. She put a hand on tree and it gives her a tune. Do you think that's incredible?
I definitely think there's people who can sort of like speak to the plants as though, you know, you get your horse whisperers and things. She's obviously a tree whisperer, because if you listen, I guess they are trying to say something to you. When I was at the very beginning of my like foraging journey, I felt like I could know which plants were edible. So my dad is a bit of like an encyclopedia for wildflowers specifically. He loves a wildflower. He knows every single wildflower that there is. The rarer, the better. And so when I very first started foraging a bit more in depthly, I was constantly taking photos for my dad and saying, "Hey, what's this? Can you tell me what this is, please?" And 9 times out of 10 it would be something edible. He wouldn't know that it's edible, but he'd tell me what it is, and then I'd go and look it up, and I'd find like there's something about the way certain plants look that you're like, oh, that looks delicious. That's actually reminded, I do have a story. I do have a folklore story for you actually. So the tomato, I recently learned, I mean, I knew that for a long time people thought that tomatoes were dangerous to eat. I mean, they look dangerous, don't they? They're red. And that's usually the
Mhm.
first warning sign. So people didn't start eating tomatoes until like a couple of hundred years ago, and maybe 300 years ago. And but tomatoes were killing people, but they were only killing the rich people And the reason for that is that rich people were eating their tomatoes from pewter plates. The acid in the tomato would cause a reaction and create lead. So they were essentially eating lead. So the tomatoes were killing
Oh
people,
my
but
God.
only the rich, which is just so interesting.
Isn't there a connection with tomatoes to deadly nightshade? The same family, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same family. And obviously most of the plants like belladonna and stuff like that in that family are dangerous to eat. But tomatoes, not a problem. I think aubergine is deadly nightshade as well. Or nightshade, not deadly nightshade, but nightshade, yeah.
The punks of the fruit and veg world.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible, though, that you have this gift to look at a plant and say, "Oh, yeah, I want to eat that." I do not have that at all. And
I kind
sometimes
of
I'm
think
so
we
sure,
do.
and
I kind
it'll kill me. It will. So I don't have that.
I kind of think we all have it a little bit. Like sometimes you just, or like you smell something, and if it smells really astringent, that's usually a sign like, oh, we don't want to be eating that. Or if it's got like really shiny leaves, that's often a sign that it's like, or like a milky sap. It just feels a bit like, oh, probably not this one. Obviously, that isn't hard and fast rules, and I'm definitely not an ecologist, but many times I've looked at a plant and just thought, you look delicious, and then found out I can eat it.
That's a gift. It's like a witch superpower. I'm a bit jealous
Prob-
of that. I am.
It'll probably get me in trouble one day. I'll probably eat something that I shouldn't, and then I'll die.
You won't die. You'll just have the runs for like 2 days. You'll be right.
Yeah, I've definitely eaten some questionable things. Like last year I think they were called Gulderberries or something like that, and they do look incredibly poisonous. Like they're bright red berries, but I ate them. I mean, they said that they were edible, not advisable, but edible, and I ate them. And I did say on the video, don't do this at home. And yeah, they didn't taste great, to be honest. But I just put a lot of sugar in there, so it was fine.
So note to self. Do you know about the what's it called now? The bush that's spiky. Is it not grouse? Is it grouse?
Gorse.
Gorse. God, I'm so dyslexic. I swear to God. Grouse. Isn't that a bird?
It is a bird,
Gorse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
So
gorse.
I'm getting my birds and my plants mixed up, for God's sake. At the moment, I'm really drawn to that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
gorse flowers all year round. It's one of the few plants that is sort of always in bloom. And the folklore, it is said, the saying is, you should only kiss your loved ones when the gorse flower is in bloom, which is so lovely because it's in bloom all year round. And gorse is very connected to protection and friendships and like family and camaraderie. And it has such a nice flavour as well. It's kind of like lemony, coconutty. And that's in both the book and the tarot deck. So in the book, it's a pastel de nata recipe.
It's emotional, isn't it? Is it cups?
Yeah,
Do you think?
it was something that was connected with like family connections. Hang on, I could just
Could
do
be
a command
the
F, can't
10.
I?
Oh, I like this game. Where you
10
got
of
to
Cups.
guess.
You're right. It was the 10, but it's the 10
Oh,
of Cups.
yes,
Well
get in.
done.
I was so
Well done
close.
you. Well done you. Yeah, I knew it was a card that was about like family and happiness and like emotional harmony, but I couldn't remember whether it was the 10 of Cups or a different card. But yes, 10 of Cups.
Yeah, I should try and work with it because I'm always trying to find broom, and I seem to get them mixed up. I'm like, I'm
They're
sure
really
that's broom.
similar.
Oh no, it's not. It's the not the grouse. The
Gorse.
gorse.
Gorse is like broom but spiky, but the flowers are super similar. I'm pretty sure you can eat broom as well, but don't quote me. I've never eaten it actually.
But you've made stuff with gross, haven't you?
Gorse,
I
yeah.
can't say it. Gorse, course, it's gorse. Okay.
It's like of course. Of course.
This is how I remember stuff. I've got to rhyme it and silly stuff like that. Of course, it's gorse.
There you go. Well, that's why we all have our like childhood rhymes and stuff, isn't it? Because it's a good way to remember things. In my book, there's a elderberry oxymil recipe, yarrow and elderberry, and the elderberries, we're a little while away from them yet because it's still in flower at the moment. But in a month or so, couple of months maybe, the elderberries should be out. So You probably won't need it by then, but you could use it as a nice cough syrup
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
have a cough around then. Coughs in the throat, they're very like antimicrobial, antibacterial as well. And I don't think the flowers have exactly the same. Maybe meadowsweet would be better because meadowsweet is where we get. I can never remember if it's aspirin or paracetamol. Are they the same thing? So there's a
Don't know. I don't
compound.
know.
I'm not a scientist, but there is a compound in meadowsweet that is where we derive aspirin from. So yeah, it's basically like a painkiller is meadowsweet. So that would probably be the one for you right now if you're feeling a bit under the weather.
I had a bash at making cordial, elderflower
Mm.
cordial, and I didn't collect enough flowers because I was taking them from my kids' school grounds, as I was really aware. And it's when you're around the neighbourhood, you can't really just pick them, can you? Because people will get arsy with you because it's like, what are you doing to my tree?
Oh my god,
Like,
I walked past a house 4 times today because they had some this is so naughty, but they had some fennel growing outside of their house. I will say it was outside of their fence, so technically that's fair game. And I literally walked past their house
totally.
4 times, and each time I was just grabbing a little handful of fennel, thinking, please don't notice me going past the window time and time again. I probably made myself more inconspicuous by doing that. I should have just stood and harvested it.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
each time I went past, I added a hat
Like
and then a
us.
mustache, and then some glasses.
But yeah, so I made this elderflower cordial and I put way too much sugar in it, but it tastes all right actually. It was good, and I did a reel. I don't know if you saw it, and I was right chuffed with the reel.
Oh,
Right, I'm being a kitchen witch. But then somebody messaged me and went, you're supposed to take the stalks out, and I was a bit like, what? And they went, yeah, you should take the stalks out because the stalks are really poisonous. And
oh,
because they'd planted that seed, I had
yeah.
to pour it down the drain because I was
Oh
like, I
no.
can't. And then I did my research and it was like, no, it's fine because you boiled it
Yeah,
and it was
it's
only a
fine.
little bit.
Oh yeah, if you made it in a cordial and you boiled it, I was gonna say it probably is fine. Like, I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm quite loosey goosey with the old. Like I said, for myself, if I'm like trying things, I've kept the stalks on when I've made cordial and I've not died. So I think it's fine as long as you boil it, surely.
Yeah, no, I'd pour it away and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have poured it. But because it's like, when there's that little seed of doubt in it and when you're not as
Yeah,
confident as like a regular forager, I was a bit like, oh no, what if my kids get ill? And yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
100%. You probably did the
it
right
was
thing,
really
to be
nice. It
fair,
was
because
nice.
you don't want to risk it. Maybe go out and get some meadowsweet, and then you can make a anti-illness cordial.
The problem with me is I'm scared that everything is giant hogweed. Like, I really am. I'm scared. Like, oh my god, is that giant? Oh, hogweed! It's gonna bloody burn me in the sun and it in. But it's like I didn't pick that. Like cow parsley could be
Yeah, well,
hemlock.
there's a dead giveaway on the hogweed. Again, I'm not as good at, I mean, I'm good at identifying them, but I'm not as good talking about plants that are poisonous because obviously I stay away from them. But I think it's hogweed or hemlock. It's either hogweed or hemlock. But both, either way, stay away from the thing that has big, like, red splodges on the stalk. They're really noticeable, these, like, dark purple splodges on the stalk. Stay away from that because that is hemlock or hogweed. Either way, keep away from that.
Oh my god!
But,
And this is where I go. Oh, I'll stick to dandelion and yeah, stuff that I
well,
know. Chives. I can do chives.
this is what I found. This is what I've got today. We've got chamomile, mint, and yarrow. And then up there is some meadowsweet and some mugwort as well. So those are all pretty identifiable.
Have you got plans for them?
Yeah, like I've got loose plans for all of them, but it's been so
Oh.
hot in the boat that it's really hard to film. And if I go
Mm.
out on a nice walk, I usually find like a multitude of things, and I'm like, oh, I'll use that for that, and like, oh, I want to use this for that, and then I bring them home, and I'm like, it's 30 degrees. I'm not going to start cooking now. So this summer, you're going to see a lot of vinegars. You're going to see a lot of fermentations and vinegars and salads because it's just so hot.
I love a salad, me though. You can't
Me
beat a
too.
nice salad. A
Me too.
stir
I'm so
fry, bloody love a
yeah.
stir fry.
I'm such a salad girly in the summer. Like I mean, Greek food's probably my favourite food. Just lovely Greek salads with the dried fruit and the olive oil. Lovely.
Is there anything you want to add that you need to put in there for like a businessy point of view?
Yes, my book is out on the 4th of September. You can pre-order it before then, but I think this is going out after it's out, so should be out now. My name on Instagram is Laura May Ritual Kitchen, and my name on TikTok and YouTube is The Ritual Kitchen. And yeah, I should have the tarot deck available to buy, hopefully right now.
And you're going to be on tour, and you're going to do a massive festival, and we're all going to come.
I'm going to have a huge festival book launch. I'm going to have a huge Halloween festival. I'm going to go on tour. Invite me to your bookshop or your event or whatever you're doing, and I will come along. Oh, I'd love to do a podcast. I really would. I have thought about it, but I don't think I've got a fully formed idea, to be honest, and I think it kind of needs that. I also waffle a lot. I think the editing, I mean, YouTube editing is bad enough with my waffling. I don't think I have the skills to pull a podcast together. Maybe one day.
Well, keep me in mind, won't you? Because I want to be an editor.
Oh, 100%. 100%. If I can put that together.
I love a waffle. A waffle's great. I love a waffle, me. To eat and to edit, it's fine. You have been listening to the Bell Witch podcast, created with love and magic by me, Swailes, the Friendly Green Witch. Big thank you to my lovely guest for this episode. And thank you to you, dear listener, for choosing the Bell Witch podcast to fill your ears. If you have a witch business, an independent podcast, a witchy topic you'd like me to talk about, or a trailer you'd like me to play, reach me on the Bell Witch podcast at yahoo.com. I love to hear from you, and I love to support you. And I love to celebrate other witch businesses, because there indeed is magic in sharing audiences amongst podcasts and other spiritual businesses. If you would like to show the Bell Witch podcast some love, you can leave ratings and reviews wherever you listen to your podcasts, as those stars really do help the show to shine. Join the Bell Witch podcast on Patreon for bonus content, early access and behind the scene videos. Until next time, stay magical, witches.